Hi, welcome back to Mr. Stewart's Lessons. I'm starting a new series here. I'm not doing Greenfoot right now. I'm working on something new, which I think is a next great step for those of you who have been doing Greenfoot for a while and want to do something a little bit higher, move up to a little bit higher level, but need something that's still not too challenging. What we have is what's called NetBeans. It's invented by Oracle, actually, that actually also invented Java, and it's a great little IDE developer environment that allows you to make some really sophisticated Java applications and takes a lot of the hard part, like creating windows and stuff, does that for you. If you're downloading it, probably all you need right now is the Java SE version. There's some more advanced versions, but this is probably all you need right now if you're just learning it. So if you just go to netbeans.org downloads, you can download it here. There's different versions. Obviously, there's a version for Mac, for Windows. I'm sure for Linux as well if you have it. So I'm not going to download it because I already did that. I think you should find it pretty easy to download and use. I'm going to come here. This is actually the actual NetBeans window. What we're going to do, we're going to make a new project. So I'm going to click here, and this is the new project button. I can also click File, New Project. Either one will do the same thing. I'll just click the New Project button. So a project, just like if you did Greenfoot before, you'll know that a bunch of files go together to make a make a program. So a project is just a bunch of files together in a folder that are going to make a single Java program. What you're going to do here, what I'm going to use is a Java, and it's called a Java application. So this is an application that actually has is going to have windows and forms, different inputs, things, so it's sort of a modern looking environment here. And don't worry about what all these other things are yet. I'm going to click Next, and going to call this repeat message, because all it's going to do right now is get a message from the user and repeat it. Don't think I'm just wasting your time like with a hello world type thing, because we're working towards a project which is to take your message and put it into a secret code. So when you do this, make sure you uncheck the create main class. I'll explain what a main class is in a little bit, but just for now, uncheck the create main class and then click finish. And now here what we have, this is over here is your source code here. So if you click on here, you'll see your source packages. This is what holds all of your different files that are going to make your program. So I'm going to click here with select click, which means with both fingers if I have a Mac, or right click if you have a PC. And I'm going to click New, and I'm going to click JFrame Form. So the JFrame form, this is a window basically. This is going to create a window that the user can do things in. So I'm going to click here, and I will just call this the same thing that I called the program. I don't have to do it that way. I could call it anything, but often you'll find that it's best to just, your first window is going to be the same name as your program. And I'm going to click finish. So you notice here I have a window, and this is where what my program is going to look like, and it's already made a lot of stuff for me, and I'll show you what it's made for me when I first start. First of all, it creates what's called a main method. So the main method here, which is this is the thing that runs. Every Java program will have a main method, and the main method is the first thing that runs when the program runs. Right now, I just want to show you really quick what actually happens if I run it. You'll notice that this green arrow is the run button. It runs, and you'll see here's the repeat message class that when it says select the main class, it's basically saying what do you want to run first. And there's only one thing to run here, but when it asks you this, it has to be something that has that main method in it. Sometimes you can have several that have the same main method in it, in which case you have to pick one. So I'll click OK. I'm telling it that's what I want to run first, and let's see what I get. Nothing very interesting. I just get a boring window which doesn't have anything in it, but you should notice that this is pretty cool, that it's actually giving me a window. It's actually making a window for me, and if I click, I can click quit repeat message from the top here, or I can just click the red X here. Obviously, if it's a Windows, you'll have your X over to the right instead, but same basic idea. So I'll close this up. Now, let me just show you really quick. In this here, you see this thing that says generated code, which you could skip over. This is all the code that it does for you to make the window for you. And don't worry at all about what that means right now. It really doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, you never have to worry about it. Down the road, you could learn how to write that code yourself by hand, but you don't need to right now because NetBeans does it for you, which is great. Now I'm going to go into the design window. The design window allows me to actually lay out my window here. And this here, over here, is these are all my user interface elements. These things up here are panes, which we're not going to worry about right now. They're allow us to sort of divide up our user interface elements. Here, these are the sort of user interface elements you've probably seen on the internet all the time. A label, which is just some text, a button that you can click, a checkbox or a radio button, which means you got a bunch of buttons in a row that you can only click one. You have a combo box, which is like a drop-down window, a list of things that you can choose from, a text field where you can type text, and a bunch of other things. We're going to start with just a label. We're going to put a label up at the top here, and so I've created a label, put a label on here. And when I put a user interface element on here, I'm going to do two things most of the time. I'm going to edit what the text says, and I'm going to change the name of the actual element. So first I'll just click here and do edit text. So I select click, and I do edit text, and it's going to allow me to change what it says here. Obviously I don't want it to say this. I'm going to say enter your message. And I'm going to hit enter, and now notice it expands it there to expands the size of the label to fill it up to make room. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the variable name. When I say the variable name, every element that I put in here is going to become a variable. It's going to have a variable that names it. So I'm going to call this message. I'm going to call this message label. Notice this is what's called camel case. I'm going to put the M is going to be lowercase, the first one's going to be lowercase, and all the words after it are going to start with an uppercase letter. So we're going to camel case all of our object names. So I've called this message label. And where does that happen? If I click on source and I go all the way down here to the bottom, private JLabel, message label. So JLabel is the class of object that it is, the kind of object that it is, which is just just some text that appears on the window, and there's my message label. And just to show you what happens when I create the message label, when I create this label here, I'm going to run it again, and there it is. It says enter your message on the window up at the top. You can't do anything with this. This is just a regular text box. A regular some text. Remember, it won't even let you select it if you want. It's just there. You can't do anything to it. So let's put in something we can actually do something with. Let's give them a place to type in their name. So I'm going to select what's called a text field. A text field is just like what you see on the internet, on the web. When you need to type anything into a website, you're going to have a text field to type it in. So I'm going to move it over here. Now this is really fun. Notice how NetBeans tries to help me line things up here. It gives me some little dotted lines here to sort of suggest where I can put things so they'll be sort of evenly laid out here. So I'll drop it here. And here's my text field 1. So this is where the user is going to they're going to type in what they want to say. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it bigger. It's better with these elements to change the size before you change the text, because what's going to happen is it's going to normally make the text, make it as small as it needs to be to hold the text. So if there's nothing in there, it'll just have no width at all. But if you do this, it'll actually save the width for you so that you can it'll leave it here even when you change the text in here. Now the text right now, I'm going to select click and do edit text, and I'm going to just delete the text altogether. This is where the user is going to enter their message, so I don't want it to say anything at first. I could have it say something, but I don't want it to. And so I'm going to hit enter, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select click it again, and I'm going to change the variable name. The variable name here is actually very important because we actually we're going to need to use this field, use information from this field. So we're going to need to call the variable name. So it's important what we call it. So I'm going to call this message field. And I can notice this one I called a label because it was a label. This one I'm calling a field because it's a field. So it's a text field, so I'll call it a field. I should name things what they actually are so that I can be clear about what they are, what I'm calling. So now if I go down here, you'll notice I have a message label and I have a message field. I have two different objects here, these objects that I've created. And now I'm going to want, so I can run this again, and I can see now that I have a field, I can actually type something in there. So I can say the quick brown fox, da 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 da, and so on. But it can't do anything yet. It's just typing there, so I can't do anything interesting. So let's close it up. And what we need is a button that's going to tell it to actually submit this text, right? So here, you notice here is an element called a button. And I'm going to bring the button over here. Again, this is just like the kind of submit button that you've clicked on the internet. It works the same way. I'm going to drop this down here. And notice again how it neatly lines things up for me, helps me put things in the right place. So, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to click Edit Text. Where this says this is going to be called a Submit button. This is going to say Submit. This is going to cause you to actually submit your text. And now we need to again change the variable name. So I'm going to call this Submit Button. And now we have a button here. This is going to tell it to do something. When we click, we're going to have to write some code to tell it to do something with your message. Now we have to have a place to put your message. So I'm going to put two more text fields here. And what's going to do is it's going to say, this is your message. And then once you click submit, your message down below is going to appear there. Obviously not very exciting, but we're only just getting started, and pretty soon we're going to do something actually interesting with the message. So I'm going to bring over a label, and this is going to, I'm just going to drop this down here. So this, I'm going to click Edit Text, and this here is going to say your message is, and I'll hit enter. Now I want to show you something interesting here. You might notice that now this doesn't look so pretty. They're not lined up so well. Actually, they are lined up okay. But sometimes you'll notice and you'll feel like things aren't really lined up, right? And I'm not sure if this is lined up or not. So what I can do something really cool here. I can click here, and I want this lined up with this and with that, right? And with this too. Okay, and I want them all lined up. Actually, I think they are, but if they're not, I can select each one of them by holding down the Shift key and clicking on each one individually. And I've clicked it, so now they're all selected here. And I will select click here, and there's something called align. And if I say left to column, it's going to align them the left side to the column. If I said right to column, it would move them all over to the right. Center to column would line them all up in the center. I can also align them along the top as well. So I'm going to say left to column, and they don't actually move because they are actually pretty well lined up. But if they weren't, it would line them up. I'll show you what happens. Say if this was in the wrong place, I'm going to select them all individually while holding down the Shift key, click, and then click here, go to align, and click left to column, and notice it'll line everything up. Really cool. And I didn't name this. We don't really need to, but I want to change everything. I'll just call it your messages label in case I want to do something with it later on. Everything should have a name. Oh, the first Y should be lowercase. We're never going to use this variable name, but I always want to name everything. And now I'm going to put one more label in here. And this label is what's going to actually hold our message. And again, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to want to resize it. And I'm resizing it first because when I get rid of the text, it's going to try and shrink it, and I don't want it to shrink it. So I'm setting the size first. So I'm going to delete the text here altogether. And again, notice how it tried to shrink it down because it thought I didn't have anything in there, so it just made it small. So I'll just drag the size down a little bit here. So now I have an empty field, an empty label, and what we can do is we can put text in this label later on in a second, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But first I'm going to change the variable name, and I'm going to call this repeat message label. So this label is where we're going to repeat the message back. And now, how do we write the code? How do we actually, so what's supposed to happen, let me just show you what's supposed to happen and what doesn't happen yet. What we want to have happening here, I'm going to type nice to meet you, and I'm going to click submit, and the messages should appear down there, but it doesn't yet. So how do we do that? Well, you're just going to laugh when you see how easy it is. I'm going to double click on the submit button, and this, you're going to see why I love NetBeans and why it's just so fun. So here, what I have here, private void submit button action performed. Notice this part's important. You see that action performed thing? This is called an event handler. An event is something that happens when you do something in a window. When you move the mouse over the window, when you click on the window, when you type a key while the window's focused, when you do anything at all, when you change a drop-down menu, anything at all in that window is called an event. And what we have is an event handler which says do something when this event happens. And when I double clicked on here, it immediately created this event handler which says do whatever's inside these two curly brackets when I click this button. This to do thing is just the automatic comment code that it adds here telling me that you have to put in here whatever you want to have happen when you click the thing. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to highlight and delete this comment. Now what I need to do, two things I need to do, right? So first thing I need to do here in my design, I need to take what's in this, okay, enter in my message field here in my, I'm going to take what's in my message field and I want to put it down here. So first I'm going to make a string variable here, and so I'm going to say string message. Okay, so now I've created a string variable called message. String variable just means it holds letters, numbers, words, anything you type. So a string is, can be your name, it can be a paragraph, it can be a sentence, it can even be numbers, but it won't really be a number because it'll just think it's just it'll treat them more like they're letters. So string message, and I want that message to be equal to, I want to get the text that's in the message field, and this is so fun. I want to get the text that's in the message field and put it in the message variable. So I'm going to say message equals, and I will say message field. I have message field, and if you remember, if you've used Greenfoot, you know that there's a thing called control space. And if I hit control space, it'll give me a drop down of things that I could type. So I hit control space, it gives me some choices here. I have the variable message, the message field, and the message label. So I want to get I'm going to click message field, and I want to get the text from it. How do I do that? Well, I press period. That means we're calling up a method of the message field. Because this is a this field actual Java element which has a bunch of methods, bunch of things that it can do. You can see there's a bazillion of them, but it's guessing what I probably want to do here right up at the top, and there it is, get text. We want to get the text in the message field, and so now it's going to take the text that's in the message field and put it in the message variable. And so now when I run this message variable will say whatever I typed in this message field. And now we want to set the text in the repeat message label. So first I'm going to start typing repeat, And then I'm going to hit Control Space. And it gives me, it guessed what I probably want to type, which is repeat message label, so I'll just hit enter. And then I'll hit period. So again, we're going to call a method of this label. The label can do a bunch of stuff, a bunch of things. And it's not obvious here what I need to do. There's a million things, but I'm going to use the method called set text. So here, to get the text, you type get text, and to set the text, you type set text. So I'll type set, and then capital T, and there it goes, set text right there. And notice it even is smart enough to see that I just created a message, a string called message, and I just put some text in it. So it's guessing that probably that's the string that I want to put in the message label, and it's right. If it wasn't, I could just go ahead and type this. Either way, but it already had it in there. And now let's watch, and let's watch what happens when I run it now. So what we've told it, create a string variable called message, get the text in the message field and put it in that string variable, and now take the repeat message label and set that message as the text of the repeat message label. Let's watch it happen. So it will pop up. It'll say, it says enter your message. I'll just say nice to meet you, and I'll click submit, and there it goes. It repeats my message down below there. Not very exciting yet, I admit, but we're going to very soon do something interesting, which is put it in a top secret code. So this is I'll be back soon, and I'll show you how to take this message, and we're going to start encoding it, doing something interesting. See you soon.